Why so many disability providers are operating at a loss and don't even realize it. Let me tell you something most people in this sector won't say out loud. There are a lot of providers who look busy, who sound busy, who feel busy, but are quietly operating at a loss. And not just financially, energetically, emotionally, structurally. You might recognize this. The roster is full, your phone is buzzing, invoices are going out, staff are clocking hours. On the outside, it looks like growth, but inside, there's this low-level pressure that never leaves your chest. You're working more, but your bank balance doesn't feel stronger. You're adding clients, but your margin isn't expanding. You're pushing, but it doesn't feel steady. And that's confusing because the logic you were given was simple. More clients equals more revenue. More revenue equals more profit. But that equation doesn't hold in disability care the way people think it does. You might not even be calling it operating at a loss. You might be calling it reinvestment, growth phase, a tight quarter, or cash flow timing. But deep down, you know, it feels heavy. It feels like you're running hard on a treadmill that's slightly tilted upwards. And here's the part that makes it worse. You feel guilty even thinking about profit. You feel that subtle tightening in your jaw when you look at margins. Like wanting to make money somehow makes you less ethical, less person-centered, less good. So instead of examining the numbers closely, you stay busy because busy feels productive. Busy feels safe. Busy feels like you're doing the right thing. But I want you to imagine something. It's 11:30 p.m. The house is quiet. You can still smell the coffee from earlier in the day. Your laptop is open. You're looking at your P&L. And there's this sinking realization. If one major payment was delayed, if one house lost a participant, if two staff went on leave at the same time, everything would feel tight. That's not profit, that's fragility. And fragility in this sector is dangerous, not just for you, for the people who rely on you. This is not about shaming you. This is about seeing clearly. Because a lot of providers are not failing because they're bad leaders. They're failing because their structure doesn't support the volume they've built. And that's fixable. Let's make this calm and clear. There are three primary reasons disability providers operate at a loss. Number one, margins are thinner than they appear. Number two, hidden cost leaks compound quietly. And number three, structural inefficiencies scale faster than revenue. In most disability systems, NDIS, Medicare, private pay, insurance, pricing is capped or controlled. You don't have unlimited pricing power. That means your margin is determined by wage ratios, utilization, admin cost, vacancy rates, compliance overheads, rework, and error rates. When you add clients without tightening structure, you amplify inefficiency. More revenue does not automatically mean more profit. It means more exposure. Now let's look at this where this actually hurts. This is where most providers don't want to look because this is the quiet bleed. Let's walk through it. You take on a new participant. On paper, the hourly rate looks healthy, but what actually happens? Intake takes longer than expected. Matching takes time. Staff turnover interrupts continuity. Documentation gets redone. Invoices get corrected. Payments get delayed. No single issue looks catastrophic, but together they create drag, and drag is expensive. Now layer in vacancy. A 1 to 3 supported living home, operating at 2 participants. You're still paying staff, still covering rent, still absorbing overheads, but you're not at full revenue. That gap, that's margin erosion. Then there's the emotional cost. When your margins are tight, you feel reactive, you delay hiring, you postpone system upgrades, you say yes to referrals that don't fit because the income feels necessary. That's survival mode. And survival mode leads to poor boundaries, poor hiring decisions, and poor pricing conversations. It's subtle, but it accumulates. And here's the truth most won't say. Operating at a loss doesn't always look like bankruptcy. Sometimes it looks like you haven't paid yourself properly in 18 months. Sometimes it looks like you haven't taken a full week off in years. Sometimes it looks like you feel resentment creeping in and you don't recognize yourself. That's the quiet hell, and it doesn't fix itself. The fix is not get more clients. It's structural clarity. First, know your true margin per service line, not overall revenue. Per service, which services are actually profitable? Which ones are emotionally draining and financially neutral? Most providers are shocked when they run this properly. Second, tighten utilization before expanding headcount. If staff are operating at 70% utilization, hiring more staff amplifies inefficiency. Optimize what exists before scaling. And third, build a 3-month buffer before expanding, not after, before. Growth without runway creates panic decisions. And fourth, standardize documentation and handover processes. Rework is invisible loss. Every time something gets redone, margins shrink. When structure improves, something shifts. Mornings feel calmer. Decisions feel less rushed. You stop saying yes from fear. You start saying yes from strength. And that changes everything. You move from fragile growth to steady growth. You move from hoping the numbers work to knowing they do. Here's one step. Pick one service line, just one. Run the numbers honestly, not estimated, not rounded, but honestly. Is it profitable? Or is it subsidized by your exhaustion? If it's loss-making, don't panic, but don't ignore it. Tighten it, restructure it, or exit it. Imagine 12 months from now, your business feels grounded, margins are clear, you pay yourself properly. You sleep without that buzzing mental noise. That's not selfish, that's leadership. Sustainability is not a finance skill, it's a leadership skill. And if you're building something meant to last, you can't build it on thin margins and hope. If this conversation felt uncomfortable in the right way, hit subscribe, because we build businesses here that are steady, not stretched.